in the platform for Jasmeet Singh would be to build 500,000 affordable homes over the next 10 years. And these are to be focused on social concessions or social community and what they call non-market homes. I feel a little bit confused by that, because by building non-market homes, they're basically saying government-controlled homes or residents. And I wonder, is that government housing? And what does that look like right now? And what does that look like in the future? My biggest concern is when you talk about it right now, government housing could be a great solution to allow people shelter. In Canada, you need shelter. It's non-negotiable. People need to live inside. Getting a system that allows people that are maybe on the lower income side or new to Canada or going through a tough time, finding housing for them is a great problem. And getting affordable housing created is a solution, but I don't think that government-controlled housing or non-market housing is really the solution. Part of the reason why is if you build a non-market housing complex surrounding market housing, guess what happens to the pricing in the market housing? They go down completely. And you have this propensity for there to be this ghetto idea where everyone is enclosed within a specific area and that's where they live. And we want to get away from that, because that creates, in my opinion, more sustained challenges, poverty. People don't have the ability to network in other communities and get out of that process. I think there's other approaches to social housing than to make non-market housing. And then another thing they're looking at is to waive the HST and GST on new affordable housing and in rental units as well, to really stimulate development. I don't think, if I'm being honest, a 7% or 13% discount in taxes is going to really spur developers to focus on this as a profit-seeking venture. In nature, they don't want profit. When you say non-market housing, they're saying, and we say affordable housing, we're really talking about prices that are quite low, and developers are not incentivized to do that. By removing just the tax, I think there's got to be a greater good. There has to be some sort of balance. Perhaps, hey, developer, we want to mix. If you're going to be developing this for-profit area, maybe you need to develop in some part of the same city a non-market residence. They're looking to reintroduce the 30-year amortization on CMHC mortgages, really allowing the mortgage payments to go down because you're stretching them over 30 years, and then double the first-time home buyers tax credit by $1,500. Not a huge deal when you're talking about GTA prices, but if you're in north central Saskatchewan, that $1,500 may be a significant stimulus. They want to implement a 20% tax on home sales to non-Canadians buying it as an investment. Currently, the Liberal government has a foreign buyer's ban, so it's illegal for a foreign buyer to buy real estate. Now, the NDP is saying we're not going to ban it, we're going to tax them, which I'm actually more for. I'm for the idea of taxing versus banning, because the tax that we collect can be reutilized to support whatever the priorities for the government, maybe socialized housing or maybe infrastructure or some other benefit that everyone gets to reap the benefit. A foreign buyer's ban means we don't want your money. And I didn't want to make a video about tariffs, and I know that's like a hot button topic, but by us having a foreign buyer's tax and a foreign buyer's ban, it's pretty well the equivalent of tariff. Not exactly, because technically a tariff is what the people in the country pay, but it's economic warfare, no doubt. So I think it's easy for us as Canadians to say this is, what's happening to us is unfair, elbows up. But in the meantime, we've been throwing stones for 2 years now, saying to the rest of the world, we're too good for you. You can't buy property here. It's just for us. I know other countries have done it. In Saudi Arabia, you can't just go in there and buy a property. We're Canada, and we want to be welcoming to people. In my opinion, we should be allowing people to write their Canadian dream, live their story here. We talk about also fast-tracking the conversion of hotels and motels into housing. Again, I think that's a little bit of a complicated policy to say we're going to convert hotels into housing. Now you need to buy the hotels. The hotels were put there as a profit-seeking venture, and it made sense for the hotel owners. Now for you to buy it and turn it into housing, you have parking issues. Hotel rooms generally don't have kitchens. They don't have multiple bedrooms. There's no community aspect. And hotels serve a purpose, which is short-term stay. Converting them into a situation where people can live with their family is really going to make it difficult for people to live a happy life, I believe. I think it really hinders their ability to live. It may be a good solution for emergencies, but I don't think that should be a policy that we use to solve the problem. This might be a one-off case. Really, I think when we look at the NDP's platform in general, their emphasis is on affordable and non-market housing to provide more options for people in low to middle income. Again, when we look at Markham, we look at the average price point being at around $1.4 million. I wouldn't say that is an average. This is not an average problem. There are some pockets in Markham where affordable housing is definitely a critical issue, but I feel the NDP platform may be solving problems for people way outside the GTA. And again, it might be solving a problem for someone 12 hours north of Toronto. There might be affordable housing for you there. In my opinion, there's already affordable housing for you there, but really it's about the job market. So it's not just about housing. It's can you live and earn a great wage in the same place? And that's the challenge. So for more information, you can check back on this channel for up-to-date info on matters that will matter most, whatever comes up that matters most for you. Of course, put your comments down below. And again, this is not deemed as political advice. It's just commentary on some of the headlines we read. We encourage you to dive deep, be educated, get out there and vote, have your voice heard. Thanks for watching.